Now, with this discussion, we're going to focus not so much on the canal, but on the structures that are attached to the canal. You know, structures that are attached to the small intestine and everything that are going to assist in the digestion and absorption. So these are the teeth. Now, no big surprise, function of the teeth is to chew up food. Now again, most of you are probably familiar with the fact that humans, we are going to have two sets of teeth. The milk teeth or baby teeth that you're going to start losing those between the ages of 6 and 12. They basically kind of get you started. There's 20, and by the time you're 2 years old, they're completely formed. But they're not the same number as the adult. Baby teeth only 20. The permanent teeth that you start getting between the ages of 6 and 12. Now sometimes it's earlier, sometimes later. So these are just kind of averages, and you can always probably find in the human race, you could probably always find some exception to the rule. Okay? Now, the final permanent teeth don't finish coming in till 17 to 25. That's why we put up here, you do get a full set of 32 teeth, but that's counting the wisdom teeth. And for some people, the wisdom teeth never emerge. We call that condition impacted wisdom teeth. And it may become necessary to have those teeth surgically removed. You know, sometimes the dentist can get a hold of them and pull them out while you're sitting in the dental chair. Sometimes, though, you have to go under general anesthesia. Basically, it's like any other surgery, and they have to cut those teeth out. And sometimes it's kind of a set in between, where they might give you a local and still pull it out. It depends on the dentist. Now, the teeth, you know, are classified by their shape, you know, and what they do. You know, for example, your two front teeth, top and bottom, are called incisors. Incisors are the chisel-like teeth designed for cutting. So if you are going to take a bite of an apple or a carrot using your front teeth, you're using the incisors to slice through it. Now, the next teeth, as we're going back, so what I've done right now is I started like with the two front teeth. If we move to the sides, you have canines. Canines are cone-shaped teeth that you could call fangs, basically. In lower animals like dogs and cats, the canines are real pronounced, and they're designed for tearing flesh. Now, the size of your canines, not going to be a function in tearing flesh. So that's probably a modification from our diet. Going back, you're going to have premolars. You're going to have two premolars. These teeth are designed for grinding, you know, chewing up the food. And larger and further back are the molars. Just remember the prefix PRE, pre means before or first. And most dental formulas are going to be given based on the number of teeth on one side and top or bottom. So if you were to look at this picture over here on the bottom, imaginary line going down through here, and counting the teeth over here, 1, 1, 2, 3. That would be the dental formula for a human. And dentists, when they're looking for teeth and they're marking the teeth in their little charts, that's what they're using to mark down the teeth, upper, lower, and I believe they even gone as far as to make actual numbers for each of the teeth. You know, so if you've had one of your premolars pulled out, and that sometimes is done here to make room for somebody with an impacted wisdom tooth, maybe remove a premolar, you know, make more room for the molars. That has been done in a few cases. You might have on your chart there that you are missing the lower left premolar. Okay? Okay. Structure of a tooth. Just remember, everybody, that a tooth is not made up of bone. We had that discussion when we studied the skeletal system. If a tooth were like a bone, remember, bones can repair themselves, and you know from if you ever had a cavity filled, a tooth is not going to repair itself. As you can see from the slide here, there's three regions to the tooth. The crown, which is the top portion, the upper portion, from the gum on up. On this picture here, you can easily see the outer enamel, which is a material actually even harder than bone, but also subject to wear and tear, acids, the lactic acid produced by the bacteria that are constantly invading your mouth. Why is it important to brush your teeth at the end of the day? Get those bacteria off where they sit on your teeth all night and create a lactic acid that will wear away at the enamel. Now, just inside the enamel, you have a softer material called dentin, which is basically a filler. And within that, then you've got the pulp cavity, which contains all the nerves and blood vessels. Now, the neck, that's the region that the dentist is real concerned with when they are cleaning your teeth, because tartar can get into that region there between the tooth and the gum and actually start to force the gum away from the tooth, creating a greater chance for infections that will get down into the bone and may cause you to lose your tooth prematurely. But that's the neck region, just the part that's in contact with the gum itself. And then the part that causes people some problems is the actual root. Those portions that go down and attach themselves to the bone. Now, remember, ligaments attach bone to bone, with this one exception. There is a periodontal ligament. I've got it listed up here because your textbook calls it a periodontal membrane. Some textbooks call it a periodontal ligament. The periodontal ligament attaches the tooth, which is not bone, to the bone of your skull. So it's a different kind of joint. It's called a gamphosis. It's a type of joint. Now, the periodontal ligament is what gives your teeth a little bit of give. So if you were to bite down some rock candy or something that's really hard, you may not notice it, but your teeth will give a little bit. So as they won't break or anything. Always a little bit of give because of the loose attachment. Now, when I get to the lecture on the physiology of digestion, I'm going to spend more time with the salivary glands at that point. Right now, I'm going to focus on two glands that directly attach to the alimentary canal. The first one is the pancreas. Now, the pancreas is a long ribbon-like gland that stretches across your abdomen. The pancreas, and this is the pancreas right here, okay, it produces a lot of different kinds of enzymes. So I put up here a wide spectrum of digestive enzymes. It produces enzymes that are going to break down proteins, carbohydrates, fats, nucleic acids. You name it, there's going to be an enzyme in there. We basically call this juice then pancreatic juice. All the enzymes and the chemicals that are going to carry it. Now, the enzymes are secreted directly into the duodenum, that first part of the small intestine. Now, the enzymes are carried in a fluid that is called alkaline. Remember your chemistry. Alkaline is the opposite of acidic. Alkaline is another word for basic. Now remember your chemistry. If the stomach contents, which are a very, very strong acid, somewhere around the pH of 3, is mixed with a solution that is basic, pH higher than 7, you are going to neutralize that stomach acid. So that you're not going to, damage the membrane of the small intestine. And that's why the acid of the stomach, why the contents of the stomach only come into the small intestine a little bit at a time, to make sure that the alkaline juices from the pancreas can neutralize that stomach acid. Now the pancreas is also classified as a mixed gland. It's called a mixed gland because besides the digestive juices, which are basically going to be exocrine, E-X-O-C-R-I-N-E. Exocrine means that they are secreted into ducts. Those will be all the digestive enzymes. There are two products called hormones that are endocrine. Those two are insulin, which I'm sure you've heard of. Insulin is a hormone that is going to lower the blood glucose levels. So it's going to take some of the glucose out of the blood and get it into the cells. Glucagons are basically going to be enzymes, hormones that are going to raise your blood glucose level. Like during nighttime when you're fasting. Let's say that you ate dinner at 6 o'clock and you ate nothing else until bedtime. You went to sleep, you wake up at 7, you've gone 13 hours without food. Your blood glucose levels are going to be kind of low. But the release of glucagons is going to actually raise those blood glucose levels. So they always stay somewhere close to the normal levels, even during times of fast. Now the liver is the largest gland of your body. It's going to be located on the right side, just underneath that structure called the diaphragm that we use for breathing. Now, the liver is going to be made up of 4 lobes. If you remember your frog dissections in 7th grade and 9th grade, you probably only have 3 lobes there in the liver of a frog. Okay, this attached to each other and to the body wall by a ligament, the falciform ligament. And the products of the liver is going to be a product called bile, B-I-L-E. Bile is not an enzyme, but it is important in breaking down fats. It gets the fats ready so that the enzymes that are produced by the pancreas can work on them. Now, bile is produced by the liver and it's stored in a structure called the gallbladder. The gallbladder is shown in the pictures over here as a small sac-like structure that's attached on the underside of the liver. It carries so as the liver produces bile, excess bile is pumped or backed up into the gallbladder, where excess water is removed and the bile is concentrated. So the bile gets really, really focused, and really small amounts will do wonders. When you have a diet high in fats, the pancreas constricts, squeezes, and forces excess concentrated bile into your duodenum. So it mixes with the fatty foods and begins the digestive process. Remember, bile is not an enzyme, so it will not break down the fats. It does something we call emulsify. We will focus entirely on emulsification when we study the digestion of fats.